Hey guys, it's vlog 7 here back in the room. For today's vlog, we'll be discussing Lawrence Lesswig's book, specifically chapter 1, which is about remixes. I've got two quotes or two parts that I've taken from this chapter that I really wanted to dissect and criticize a little bit. And then we have some questions proposed by our professor that I'd like to dive into relating my YouTube experience with remix. So to begin, I want to read these two quotes that I took from the first chapter. In the world Sousa feared, fewer and fewer would have the access to instruments or the capacity to create or add to the culture around them. More and more would simply consume what had been created elsewhere. Culture would become the product of an elite, even if this elite, this cultural monarchy, was still beloved by the people. The second quote is short, and it is his fear, with regard to Sousa, was that people would be less connected to and hence practicing creating that culture. So I would like to completely disagree with these two quotes. Um, and I'm going to first start by saying that I understand or I believe that this book was written in 2008, and there's been 9 years have passed since this book, and a lot has changed in culture. But I think that culture is much different to how Sousa originally feared. He's talking basically about this transition with more technology and how, in a way, people will not be able to shift their culture because of technology. It'll be more like more one thing will be leading the way, and I completely disagree with this because the focus here is music. So what I want to focus on is one specific genre of music, which is the hip hop rap world, and you see it now that by no means is hip hop, because first off, hip hop and rap have a huge influence on what pop culture is today, or at least specifically in the areas of pop culture that I myself am involved in or look into. And I do not think that rap culture is by no means decided by the elites. I think the artists who currently are considered elite a few years ago or at the start of their career, before their first album or first break, they were nobodies. You find footage now on YouTube of someone like Kanye West who didn't have any good start in music. He just he was a producer. And this leads me to my other thing, because Susan's talking about production and producing culture and whatnot. And I think production in musical sense, staying along this path of the rap hip hop genre, it's its own art form. I think a producer itself is, without, you can have a great rapper, but without the music, the instruments, the sounds behind him, not everyone is making a cappella records or albums. So um, I think music now is created with software that has hundreds of instruments available as presets. So I think when Sousa was fearing in a world where people would not be able to have access to instruments, I think that doesn't exist. Also, another thing is you can make literally music out of anything. You see now a lot of videos of people just with their pencils and pens on desks, just making a beat or drumming or whatnot. And then you could say, well, going back to the software, oh, the software is too expensive, or that in its sense is elite. But I feel like for someone who truly loves production, who loves music, their priorities are changed from someone else. It's all about what one person thinks is important in their life. So if that person really loves music and wants to produce, he might save all of his or her money um, and buy that software. For him, that's a priority. For other people, we might think it might not be a priority, and only the elites would have it. But no, anyone can really have it as long as it's what they want to do. So I didn't agree with the overall tone of the first chapter, because I think now if Sousa were to see the world we're in now, if he's still alive, I'm not sure, then then he would truly see that we have access to culture, to instruments. We have the ability to affect culture in a positive and a negative way, but by no means are we limited, and is by no means culture produced strictly by the elite. Now it starts from the bottom, and the people at the bottom create what we have today in culture. Now I want to move along to answering some of the questions proposed by our professor. The first one would be, could YouTube exist without remix? And honestly, I don't think so. I think that it takes a trailblazer, one person to start a trend or one genre on YouTube, and then based off of that one video, that people will create their own opinion. They will either like it or not like it. If they like it, then they say, you know what, this guy did it one way. I like what he did. I'm gonna take some of what he or she did and make it my own. Therefore, they're remixing because they're influenced by that trailblazing video. The other person is also influenced by that person, by the trailblazer, in the sense that they could see, they'd be like, listen, I don't like any of what he or she did, and now I'm gonna take it and do my own thing. And now I'm not gonna use any of what I'm influenced in a way that I don't want to do what he or she did in their trailblazing video. Therefore, I will be creative in my sense and become my own trailblazer. So in a way, you need one trailblazing video, which I believe would have started at the start of YouTube in its creation, and then you go for there. So I honestly think that YouTube couldn't exist without remix. The last group of questions proposed by a professor include some of the following. What role does remix play in your life? How much of your life involves remix? How much of your engagement with YouTube is about remix? Now, for me, I see these questions, and my honest answer is that I mostly watch remix videos on YouTube strictly because of the types of videos that I watch. It's either soccer or music for me. In music, I don't listen to music remixes. I actually really dislike them. On another media interface like SoundCloud, when people throw on like EDM remixes or just remixes of a hip hop song, I honestly hate listening to them. Like, people know that I really want the aux to someone to get that person to get off the aux and switch it up a little bit. Um, but on YouTube, with the with regard to remixes, most of it's soccer. So I will either most of my videos would be of either one player, and with that player, I watch a remix video of his skills, his goals, assists, control, touch, passing, moves, his style, interviews. So in a way, all those sometimes are all put into one video. So you take clips of certain games from, I don't know, spanning a whole season or multiple seasons, and you have to remix them into your own way with your own type of music, to create your type of mood that you want to portray to the audience, with or without commentary. So I think that that's incredibly unique, and that's where I spend most of my time. So I would say maybe more than half or more than 75% of my YouTube experiences is with remix, which is why I think remixes are incredibly important.